All right, let's talk me through number one real quick. Hutos, ha, anthropos is in what case?
Nominative.
Nominative. So we do what?
Single underline.
Yep. Genoske.
What's our verb?
It's our verb. Good. So we
Circle.
circle. Okay. Ekanon ton apostolon. All in what case?
Accusative.
Accusative. Good.
That's our demonstrative pronoun.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So translate this section right here for me.
So
This man.
This man.
this man
Okay. And now the verb knows. He knows. So this man knows.
knows
Ekanon ton apostolon.
that apostle.
Apostle. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Be careful not to just to overgloss it because that'll happen. So this man
Wait a minute. No.
knows that
apostle.
It's
apostle.
apostolos.
Oh yeah,
It's number one.
I wrote anthropos.
Yeah,
So
you
according to what I wrote, this
Okay.
that was correct. What's on the page is apostolos. So
Okay.
this apostle knows that apostle according to the
Okay.
book. According exactly. So that's good. You got two for the price of one. You know,
There
you
you
got
go.
two different lexical forms here. All right. All right. This time I'm going to do number two. I'm going to actually try to write it down correctly this time. You just
Okay.
wait. You just wait and see. I think I transposed it because I was looking at number two probably for a second. Okay, so hutoi, hoi, anthropoi, that's where I was looking for. So what case is that in?
That is nominative again.
Nominative. Nominative, plural, good. Apuusin,
It's our verb.
verb. Ekenatapaidion.
Plural.
Plural accusative, yes. Can you tell what gender that is, by the way? It's a neuter. Remember in the nominatives and the accusatives of neuter nouns, generally speaking, you can't tell if it's the subject or if it's the object. Only context will tell you.
Okay.
Well, in this case, the nominative case was clearly taken up by this slot.
Right.
So that ended up falling into the accusative. That makes sense?
Pronounce that. Akena.
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 Okay.
Akena tapaidia.
Tapadia.
So how would you translate just this first? What's in the nominative case? How would you translate that?
These men.
Men. What are they doing?
These men here.
These men here.
And I don't know that word. What's that word there?
Tapaidia.
Child. Children?
Children.
Children.
So
Here.
Children.
Those children.
those children. Very good. Very
Here.
good.
Those children.
So these men hear those children. So number three. All right. So hutas blepe ekenon in to nao. Now look at hutos for a second. Is there any noun being accompanied with it?
Yeah,
No. So it's being used how?
That.
Subject to.
Substantively. Right. You're getting it. You're getting it. Substantively. So it's acting as the noun itself. And so when we have that, we remember that this carries with it gender and number, so we can figure out what the translation is.
Right.
So then translate hutos.
That's masculine, singular,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
this man
This man.
sees.
Yep, I forgot the diagram. Sees.
Right.
What case is a canon?
This man sees. A canon is accusative
Uh-huh.
singular.
Mm-hmm. Good. And then into nao is what? A
That's a prepositional phrase.
Good. So, what we want to translate is just this. So this man sees
Sees that
mean? This man sees that man. And there's more information.
This man.
Where?
Sees that man.
Into na'o.
In the in the room.
Yeah, it's a temple or
the
a
holy
sanctuary.
temple.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting side fact, by the way. When I was studying Old Testament, we were going through the dimensions of the temple that were specified, and the Ark of the Covenant, and all whole stuff.
Right.
If you actually do the measurements on paper, you'll know that the veil that covered the Holy of Holies, where that room was cut off, the poles for the Ark of the Covenant were longer than the room, so the poles would have been poking out or making the curtain move. So that was interesting. I was like, that means nothing for us. So I was like, just a little interesting fact.
What was it? Rectangular or square? The shape of the room?
I would guess it would be rectangular.
More rectangular than square?
I'm not real sure. I don't remember the dimensions.
Interesting.
But our professor was just like,
That's
just
cool.
a little interesting fact. The Ark of the Covenant was bigger, or was longer than the room allowed it to be, and so it had to poke out a little bit.
Don't wonder what those are.
Don't look. All right, number 4. All right. Here's one that's going to kind of catch us. So just pay very careful attention here, and we'll see it in just a second.
This is.
All right. Haute is in what case?
Nominative.
Nominative, good.
Nominative, singular, feminine.
Yeah, nominative, singular, feminine, good. Eke is what?
Amy.
Well, what part of speech is it?
Verb.
Verb. There's no that's getting you. All right. Arraigning is in what case?
Accusative.
Accusative, good. In te cardia is a prepositional phrase, right?
Prepositional phrase.
And then altes is in what case?
Altes, is that genitive?
It's a genitive, right. Remember, the sigma usually is the indicator of a genitive, singular, feminine, first declension. It's usually an indicator there. All right, so we've now diagrammed our sentence. So the heart and soul of our sentence, let's translate that. Okay? So, how do you translate haute?
This woman.
This woman.
Woman, yeah.
Eke arraigning. What is this action here? Eke. From echo.
Is that the have?
Yeah, have, or so. This woman has arraigning. This is from a much, much previous lesson.
Oh, okay.
The helping word, for whatever reason, helped me, which makes sense. But the helping word was Irene. It was a name.
Irene.
The only reason that stuck out to me is because through marriage I have an Aunt Irene. So every time I think of this word, I think of her. And then,
Okay.
yeah, peace. Yeah, and she's actually a pretty peaceful woman, so that helps me.
Okay.
So she's not
This
confrontational.
woman has peace.
So this woman has peace. All right. Pick up the prepositional phrase. This woman has peace in te cardia. In the cardiac.
In the heart.
Heart, yeah.
In the heart.
Okay. In the heart.
In the heart.
Okay. Now,
In
Of her.
heart.
of her. Yeah. So in her heart. Here's what I want you to notice about this verse. Okay? Halte has a rough breathing mark. It is a demonstrative pronoun. Altes does not have a rough breathing mark.
Gotcha.
It is a personal pronoun.
Right. Right.
Personal pronoun. You see how strikingly similar those look?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The biggest indicator for me is knowing that rough or smooth breathing mark there. And actually, there's an appendix in the back of the book that actually has forms that look identical, but based on breathing mark or accent will give you a different meaning. So he's got a whole chart in the back that'll help you. And this definitely falls into that category. Actually, go ahead and skip over to number 16. Let's look at the exact same thing here.
Okay.
So you got halte, there it is again. So this woman, egnoke, okay, egnoke, this is a, do you know what the source of egnoke is? Gnosko, okay? So that's our source. So a lot of times when I see the source, I can almost reverse engineer it and figure out how to parse it. How would you parse egnoke? What tense is that? Can you see it?
Is that past?
It is a past tense, but remember we're specific. We can say aorist, imperfect, or perfect.
Yeah.
What tense can you? Okay, look at
perfect because it's a stem change.
Sorry, I just lost track of what I was thinking and got sidetracked.
Because it took off the.
Okay, so here's where it gets kind of fuzzy for a second, because this is kind of one of the irregular forms. If you go back to the last lesson that we just did with the perfect tense, look up the perfect vocabulary word for gnosko. Do you see it?
Yeah, I have no.
Egnoka. Egnoka. Do you see that now? Okay. So when you go back, and this is kind of how I spotted it. I just had to double check, make sure I wasn't going crazy there for a second. I see the past time morpheme up front, so I know it's taking place in the past. But the ke at the end is what tipped me off to perfect, because the ke is the third singular ending, right? It's not a full ka. It's not the full perfective aspect of morpheme. It kind of gets cut off in the third person singular.
Yeah.
So the epsilon nu tells us third person singular. So that's kind of been the case with past verbs anyways. But the kappa there is a shortened version of ka, the perfective aspect of morpheme. That's how I noticed it, because this one doesn't have reduplication. It's kind of a weirder form. Did you track with me there?
Past perfect.
It is the tense is perfect.
Right.
So it is a perfect. What voice? What have we learned so far?
Active.
Active. That's all we know. What mood is it? It's indicative. That's all we've got so far. So perfect, active, indicative. What person and number?
Third person
Singular.
Yes.
From gnosko.
Yes.
Okay? And so when we have all that information there, this woman, how would we translate egnoke?
Has known.
Has known. Very good. Has known. This woman has known tain aletheon. The truth. Now we've got altain at the end. You see that? Or altain. Actually, it's near towards the end. But notice it does not have what? Like
rough breathing mark.
Yeah, it doesn't have the rough breathing mark like the first one did. So the first one is a demonstrative pronoun. This last one is a personal pronoun.
Okay.
A personal pronoun. Now this is a personal pronoun, so this is from altos. And altos, remember, had special uses. Its general use is referring back to an idea, right? The second use is an intensifier. And the third use is like an adjective, like the same. Remember all that? Can you maybe take a guess as to which one it's doing? Because can you see it's also in the accusative case? And it's agreeing with tain aletheon. Do you see that?
So it's an adjective. It takes the adjective form. No, what you said it was like
So give me your translation.
this woman has known her truth.
Not her truth.
The same truth?
Not the same, because you get the definite article. So what's the last option here? The truth. Make it that like intensify the truth. Self.
The truth itself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So it's accusative. So, but it's a personal pronoun. So would we put in parentheses or double underline it?
You would still double underline. It's
Okay.
agreeing with tain aletheon.
Okay.
And it's intensifying it.
Okay.
So,
Truth itself.
so this woman has known the truth itself.
Yeah.